As you can probably tell in this scenario, Naruto has the Rinnegan. In fact, he was born with it. When the Ninetales tried to kill Naruto, Minato and Kushina jump in front and use the Reaper Death Seal like the original. But when the Kyuubi sees Naruto's eyes, he starts to think that maybe he's the reincarnation of the Sage of the Six Paths. And after that, he doesn't even try to resist the Jutsu. Because if he was going to be sealed in anyone, the reincarnation of his father would be the only person he would let happen. A few years after the Ninetales attack, Naruto's childhood is remarkably different. People don't hate him. In fact, they look at him with pride. This village has a citizen that has the most powerful dojutsu that they know of. The only person who had a problem with this was Danzo, who wanted those eyes for himself. But while Naruto was under Hiruzen's protection, there was no chance, yet. When Naruto starts the academy, it is very obvious that Naruto is a true prodigy, as he had very good chakra control, was quite wise beyond his years, a lot like Itachi was, and pretty much everything came easy, if not naturally, to him. He spends a lot of his time in the village library, reading about the history of shinobi and learning different jutsu. He had a major hunger for finding out more about chakra, and for some reason really liked learning how chakra had been used by shinobi in the past. After he had learned all the jutsu in the library, he goes to the Hokage office to formally ask the Hokage if he had any jutsu he could learn. Because, well, he needs to learn more. Hiruzen thought about this for a second, and had a small flashback to Orochimaru, who had the same hunger. Hiruzen gives Naruto a scroll of quite high level jutsu. Not the scroll of sealing, but jutsu that would be considered tuning level. Hiruzen also gives Naruto some advice, like maybe you could try coming up with some of your own as well, but bear in mind that strength isn't based on the amount of jutsu that you know. It's your will of fire and the will to protect those close to you. Naruto thanks the Hokage for the scroll and for the little life lesson that he just gave him. Over the next few years, Naruto was a star pupil. He aced every exam and had the top marks in the entire academy. The only one close to Naruto was Sasuke, who had the second highest marks. Naruto and Sasuke were actually very good friends when they started the academy. But after the massacre, Sasuke challenged Naruto every day to compare their strength. But every day, Naruto won the fight with ease. And every day, Naruto would try and get through to Sasuke by telling him that he needs to start living for himself and his own life, not basing his life on revenge. But every day, it seemed to fall on deaf ears. When the graduation exam comes around, Naruto obviously passes, which didn't surprise anyone. In fact, some were surprised that he wasn't a Chunin already. But Naruto rejected every offer to become a Chunin, as he wanted to stay so that he could help Sasuke. He could help his best friend. After they all become Genin, they get put into teams, and they still become Team 7 with, like the original, with Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura. They wait forever for Kakashi to turn up, and when he finally does, he's taken aback. Even though he knew that Naruto had the Rinnegan, he had never seen those deep purple eyes before. So it was kind of odd to him. Also kind of like a religious feeling, as most shinobi know about the reverence that is the Rinnegan. He tells them all to go to the roof, and Kakashi asks about their dreams and goals for the future. Sasuke says that he wants to restore his clan, then glances towards Naruto and says that he likes one person that he sees as a friend and a future rival. Naruto smiles slightly at this comment, but then gets a bit emotional, thinking that Sasuke still thinks of him as a friend, so that means that this is what Sasuke's personality had become. Sakura is still creepily obsessed with Sasuke, but no longer hates Naruto, as he isn't annoying like he is in the original. She says that she hates Ino. Kakashi rolls his one visible eye, thinking, come on girl, you're a ninja now. You need to think more than, boys. Naruto says that his goal is to help everyone in the village and to change this ninja world. Chakra shouldn't be used to attack one another. It should be used to connect to people and protect. Kuruma's ears twitch, hearing this, now knowing that he must be the reincarnation of Ashura, which doesn't really change anything, as Ashura was just like his father. So he goes back to sleep with a slight smile, as he's now confirmed that Naruto is indeed a reincarnation. Kakashi also found this answer interesting, and asked Naruto how he would do this, with Naruto standing up and telling Kakashi with confidence that he's going to become the Hokage and show the other villagers a better way. This answer impresses Kakashi, and it actually makes him smile, while he thinks that Minato would be so proud of his son, even now. He then gets their attention by saying that tomorrow they will have one final exam, to see if they are truly ready to become ninja. He tells them to meet him at the training grounds and not to eat breakfast. He disappears and Naruto's about to head off, but Sasuke called him back and asked if they should come up with some kind of plan, as they may have to fight Kakashi in the test tomorrow. Sakura kinda hangs her head, as she wasn't being included, but Naruto turns to her and tells her that if this is the case, he wants her to build traps in the forest, while Sasuke stays close and in cover and fires projectiles and jutsu at Kakashi. Sakura asks Naruto what will he be doing, and Naruto smiles, telling her that he'll be fighting Kakashi one-on-one, with his Rinnegan nearly gleaming with excitement of getting closer to his goal. Sasuke agrees with this plan, and they all head off home to get some rest before the bell test. The next day, Naruto heads towards the training grounds and is there just before Sasuke and Sakura arrive. They talk more about their plan, as they know that Kakashi is probably going to be a while. They made a plan as soon as the test begins, Sakura will run into the woods and set traps around the forest. Sasuke will stay on the opposite side of the clearing to Sakura to cover Sakura's position as much as possible, and Naruto will be distracting Kakashi, as he is the most powerful member of the team. Naruto hands half his ninja tools to Sasuke and the other half to Sakura, only holding on to one kunai to use against Kakashi. After a while, Kakashi turns up, spouting his usual story of going the long way around and getting lost on the path of life. Naruto raises his eyebrow and looks at Kakashi and says that life is always in front of you, hence why you always look forward, so you must have been looking backwards, so why were you looking backwards? Kakashi thinks that Naruto seems to have quite a philosophical mind and is quite intelligent, and the two of them may have a very interesting conversation sometime in the future. He then tells the team how the test will work, and that the two ninjas that grab the bells will become genin, while the other will go back to the academy. This concerns Sakura, as she will be the furthest away from the bells, and she's also the weakest of the team. But Naruto gives her a reassuring look that lets Sakura know that he does indeed have a plan. Sakura calms down, and Kakashi starts counting down. Once he says start, Sasuke and Sakura jump into the woods in opposite directions, and Naruto stands staring at Kakashi with his purple eyes. Kakashi is slightly unnerved by this, but asks Naruto if he really thinks he can fight alone, with Naruto smirking, saying they'll find out soon enough. and then Naruto runs directly at Kakashi, throwing a solid punch fast enough to make Kakashi block. He then throws another and another over and over again, with each punch being blocked by Kakashi, who actually was expecting more. But as he thought this, Naruto planted both of his feet into Kakashi's chest and kicks away while doing hand signs for using the fireball jutsu. Kakashi shits himself at the size of the fireball and uses a mud wall to block it, but is cut off by 5 kunai flying out of the forest from behind him, making Kakashi use a substitution jutsu instead, ending up in the woods. He starts to sneak through the woods, trying to get over to Sasuke, but again is cut off by a big log swinging towards him, knocking him back into the clearing. Kakashi gets up and sees that Naruto has a kunai out ready for round 2 against him. Kakashi smiles, and even though they have passed already, he wants to see what they are truly made of. So against Naruto, he uses a water dragon, which is met by Naruto's own water dragon, cancelling each other out in the air. Kakashi then rushes forward, engaging Naruto in another taijutsu bout, going back and forth, fairly even, as Kakashi wasn't going full power. Kakashi then starts picking up the pace and knocks Naruto away. Kakashi then quickly dodges a couple of kunai that came out from the woods, and the kunai start going straight towards Naruto. Almost on instinct, Naruto raises his hand and points his palm towards the kunai, and they seem to be blasted away from some invisible force. Kakashi looks at Naruto and thinks that must be one of the Rinnegan abilities, but Naruto doesn't seem to know what he just did. Before anything else could happen, Naruto could see Sakura come into the clearing and give Naruto a thumbs up, which Kakashi did see, but didn't know what that meant. Naruto throws his one kunai, at a tree nearby, and Kakashi could see that he had just cut a very fine wire, which launches more kunai and shuriken from 2 different directions, and the fireball comes from another direction from Sasuke. Kakashi uses a substitution again and tells the genin to stop. He had a huge smile under his mask and tells them that they all pass. He explains that the test was to see if they could work together, and their teamwork seems to be flawless as of now. He tells them that they are now Team 7 and that they will start missions starting tomorrow, and dismisses all of them apart from Naruto, who he wanted to talk to. He asks Naruto if he has ever heard of the abilities that the Rinnegan possesses, with Naruto telling him that he has no clue what he means. Kakashi explains that there are multiple fabled abilities of the Rinnegan, but he doesn't have any clue what they might be. Well, before today anyway. He tells Naruto that the way he deflected those kunai may very well be one of them, while Naruto looks shocked and wonders if he can even control that. Naruto tries pushing in his mind, and a rock on the floor starts to roll away. He tries again, but nothing happens. He waits a couple of minutes and tries again, and it moves. He then starts to form hypotheses in his head and counts to 5, and then tries again. The rock rolls away, so already he had access to the almighty push and now knows about the 5-second recoil. Over the next month they do the annoying and tedious missions until one of them eventually cracks, this time being Sasuke, who asked the Hokage very formally if they could have a higher ranked mission, which Hiruzen says that he is surprised that they didn't ask sooner, and finds the mission to escort the bridge builder to the Land of Waves. Tazunu comes in and starts drunkenly giving them shit for being kids, But when Naruto turns around and he sees his Rinnegan, Tazuna changes his tune and eagerly accepts, knowing about the legendary dojutsu. Not even being a ninja, he had heard of those purple eyes. Naruto smiles and says it's nice to meet him, and asks when they were leaving. Kakashi tells them that they will head out first thing in the morning. So the next morning, they all meet at the village gates and set off to the Land of Waves, excited for their next step in the ninja world. Team 7, along with Tazuna, set off from the village gates, with the three Genin talking amongst themselves about what this mission may involve further down the line. After a while, Naruto, with his Rinnegan, picks up 2 clear chakra signatures coming from a puddle and looks at Kakashi, who clearly noticed the same thing. All of a sudden, the 2, quote, legendary Chunin jump from the puddle going straight towards Tazuna. Sasuke knocks one of them out after a short taijutsu battle, while Naruto takes the other out by simply raising his hand and using Almighty Push, flinging the ninja through several trees. Sasuke and Sakura look at Naruto stunned, as they haven't seen Naruto do this ever before, but Kakashi isn't really fazed, as he was there when Naruto discovered it. Kakashi starts interrogating the Demon Brothers, and they find out that they weren't the only 2 ninjas hired, and there was 2 more dangerous ninja further down the road. The reason they are so forthcoming with this information is they are terrified of what Naruto could potentially do to them with those eyes. With this information, Kakashi asks Tazuna why he lied to them about the severity of the mission, and gets the usual story of him not having enough money. They decide to carry on regardless and go further. They all get on the boat, with Tazuna telling them the story of what had happened since Gato took over, and the reason why the bridge needed to be completed. Naruto tells Tazuna that their land will be free from Gato. No one should be made to suffer like they have. Kakashi looks at Naruto, proud of his student's resolve and his mindset. Tazuna thanks Team 7 for helping him, and after a while they get to the docks and get off the boat. While walking towards Tazuna's house, a thick mist falls over the group, and Naruto grabs Sakura and Tazuna and shouts for everyone to hit the deck. With his Rinnegan, he could see the blade fly towards them and stick in the tree, after nearly taking their heads off. They look up, and the demon of the mist, Zabuza, was standing on the hilt of the blade. He tells Team 7 to hand over the bridge builder or die. But then Kakashi lifts his headband, revealing his Sharingan to Team 7. Zabuza immediately sees Kakashi as the biggest threat, but knows that the kid with the Rinnegan may be a big problem further down the line. So he and Kakashi have their usual fight, with Kakashi getting caught in the water prison jutsu, and Zabuza sends a fairly powerful water clone to go after Naruto. But Zabuza is shocked to see that his water clone gets destroyed straight away by Naruto, who had just used Almighty Push. And even more shocking is Naruto had copied Zabuza's water clone jutsu, and a water clone was now flying straight towards Zabuza. He dodges the clone, but the clone used a weaker Almighty Push on Zabuza, knocking him off balance, ready to get hit by Sasuke's Fireball Jutsu, which is on a direct course to Zabuza's chest. Zabuza has no choice but to pull his arm out of the prison and go after the brats himself. He flings his blade with more force, sending it spiralling towards Naruto, who has an idea. He ducks the blade and outstretches his hand and pulls in his mind instead of pushing, which yanks the blade back towards him. He ducks once more and the blade goes straight through Zabuza's chest, killing him on the spot as he wasn't expecting that. Haku jumps out of the woods straight away, grabs Zabuza's body, and gets away as fast as possible, trying to save his master's life. Little did he know that he had already left this world. All of Team 7 and Tazuna are amazed at what Naruto just did, but Naruto collapsed to the floor due to chakra exhaustion, which is to be expected really after using Almighty Push and Universal Pull, which he had literally only just figured out. Naruto wakes up the next day to sounds of someone hitting the floor and the delicious scent of ramen coming from the kitchen. He gets up and heads outside to see what all the noise was, and is met by Kakashi, who tells him that they're doing the tree walking exercise, and he lets Naruto know how to do it. The sound from before was Sasuke trying and hitting the floor after failing. Naruto gives it a try and gets halfway up the tree at a sprint, but then comes tumbling down. He tries again, but this time walks with his eyes closed, focusing on his feet. He walks straight up the tree and stands firm at the top. Sasuke then gets a lot more motivated and gets to the top of the tree a lot faster than he did in the original. This impresses Kakashi and thinks that if Naruto didn't have the Rinnegan, Sasuke probably would have done it a lot faster than Naruto did. He then decides to teach them some actual jutsu, as he wasn't nearly as drained as the original, and they finished the exercise a lot faster than he thought they would have. He teaches Sakura the demonic illusion hell viewing technique, telling her that even though it's a low-level jutsu, in the right moment and used correctly, it could be incredibly useful. If even used correctly, she could potentially make her enemies fight each other. He then teaches Sasuke the lightning clone jutsu, after checking his chakra nature and finding out that he not only has fire, but also lightning chakra natures. He teaches Naruto the shadow clone jutsu, and isn't surprised that Naruto picks it up after seeing it only once. But Naruto is stunned as he can see through his shadow clone's eyes, in the same way that Nagato could see through the paths of pain. In order to get used to it, he makes 10 shadow clones, which that alone impresses Kakashi. But after Naruto tells him that he can see everything at once, Kakashi laughs and says that Naruto truly is one in a million, and that he is incredibly pleased to have them all as students. They all have a little bit of a chuckle, but Kakashi gets serious and tells them that the person who took Zabuza's body will probably come back looking for revenge. The next morning, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 head to the bridge to oversee Tazuna and make sure nothing bad happens. Naruto makes 4 shadow clones, and they each stand at a corner of the bridge, giving him a complete view of the bridge. After one of the clones sees a Senbon fly towards the group, the real Naruto throws a kunai, knocking it out of the air and alerting everyone that Haku has arrived to get his revenge. Haku tells Team 7 that for killing his master, he is going to kill all of them, starting with the blonde-haired brat. After Zabuza's death, Haku's heart had broken, so this time he was going for the kill. Naruto steps forward against Kakashi's protests and tries to talk to Haku, telling him that they were just defending themselves from Zabuza. But this fell on deaf ears, as Haku flew towards the group with the executioner's blade that he had taken from his master. Naruto dodges the sword over and over again while still trying to get through to Haku, but Haku tells him to shut up and swings faster and faster, to the point Naruto had to pull out his own kunai to start blocking. Seeing that his friend and rival may be having some trouble, Sasuke jumps in to help against Haku, but this only led to Sasuke getting hurt as Haku smacked him away towards the rest of the group. Seeing Sasuke hurt made Naruto angry, and he stopped talking and started fighting back against Haku. The fight seemed to be quite even, with Naruto and Haku actually getting hits on each other, but they weren't anything too serious. Haku jumps back and uses an ice dragon against Naruto, and Naruto returns with his own fireball jutsu, which eclipsed anything Sasuke was able to pull off. It was so powerful, it managed to melt the ice dragon and continue on to Haku, who barely dodges in time. Knowing that his only choice will be to outspeed Naruto, Haku used his demonic ice mirror jutsu, surrounding Naruto. Seeing this, Sasuke jumps to Naruto's side, getting them both trapped inside. Haku starts jumping from mirror to mirror, dead set on killing Naruto, with Naruto only being able to move out of the way of Haku hitting his vital spots. Haku starts throwing Senbon, hitting Naruto, making him get slower and slower until it looked like the inevitable would happen and Naruto would die. But Naruto used his almighty push, sending the Senbon away from him, back into the mirrors. Haku tells him that was impressive, but it seems you missed one. Naruto doesn't know what he's talking about until he hears something hit the floor. It was Sasuke. Naruto runs to Sasuke, who had been hit in the chest, just inches away from his heart. Sasuke smiles at Naruto, telling him it wasn't his fault, and to promise that he will kill his brother, as it appears he won't be able to restore his clan anymore. Sasuke passes out, looking lifeless, and Naruto starts crying over the loss of his friend. Haku yells at Naruto, saying that now he knows the pain he felt when Naruto killed his master. Naruto grits his teeth and snarls at Haku, telling him that his master was a murderer just like you, and he will never, ever forgive him for what he had done. Seeing that Naruto was in some serious distress, and knowing what the situation looked like, Kurama gives Naruto his chakra to deal with this threat. Naruto starts getting more ferocious. His normal purple eyes had a slight tint of red, and had one Tomoe in each eye. His whiskers get darker, and his nails and teeth get sharper. He then gets covered in thick orange chakra. Haku jumps to the next mirror, but Naruto, clearly seeing this now, catches him and throws him into a mirror, creating a massive crack that was covered with blood. He then uses Universal Pull, grabbing Haku again, then launching him through the mirror, destroying the jutsu and leaving a blood trail to Haku's shaking body. Haku stands up, his mask completely destroyed. Naruto runs full speed towards Haku and slices at him with his nails fully extended, putting 5 cuts into Haku's chest. After this, Kurama's chakra disappears, as the Kyuubi takes it back, knowing that Naruto wouldn't want to kill him, even though he may deserve it. Kakashi walks over to Haku and uses his lightning blade, killing him, protecting his student from feeling the guilt of killing someone else. Naruto falls to the ground, trying his best not to cry, as a ninja shouldn't cry. But Kakashi kneels down, putting his hand on Naruto's shoulder, as he knows what it's like to lose your best friend. This touching moment between Naruto and Kakashi stops completely, as they hear Sakura shout to them, telling them that Sasuke is alive, he's just unconscious. Naruto runs straight to Sasuke's side to check for himself, and starts laughing hysterically, seeing that Sasuke is breathing quite calmly. They hear a man shout at Tazuna, telling him to stop building, or his men will stop him. Naruto gets back up and looks towards Gato and his men, telling them to leave now and never come back. The group of thugs laugh, and some of them even fall to the ground from laughing, at this kid telling them what to do. And Naruto points his hands towards them and shouts "Almighty push," throwing all of them off the bridge, saving the Land of Waves. After a few days pass, Sasuke wakes up and the bridge is finally finished. Tazuna tells the group that he's going to name the bridge the Rinnegan Crossing, in honour of the Rinnegan wielder who made it possible. I'm literally just trying to give the bridge a better name than the Naruto bridge. Let me know if you like the sound of the Rinnegan Crossing. Personally, I do. Anyway, Team 7 head back towards the Leaf Village, and Naruto is wondering where that power came from. After a bit of time thinking this, he hears a voice in his head, asking Naruto to come see him, and telling him how to get in contact. Naruto closes his eyes, and with not much effort, appears in front of a huge cage that contains the Nine Tails. The Kyuubi tells Naruto that the power came from him, and he was also the one that took it away. Naruto thanks him for the power but asks why he took it back, with Kurama growling, saying that Naruto made a promise to change the world, and killing that boy could have been a reason for you to give up on that dream. Naruto gives a small smile and thanks the Nine Tails, with the Kyuubi laughing, telling Naruto that his name is Kurama and it was a pleasure to meet him. Remember, Kurama knows that Naruto is the reincarnation of Ashura, and knows that Naruto means what he said about changing the world, as Ashura was the one who inherited Ninshu in the first place. So it stands to right that Naruto would also inherit it. Naruto thanks Kurama for his help and his very wise decision to keep Naruto on the right path. He tells Kurama that he'll be back later, as for now he needs to get home, with Kurama nodding and smiling and then lying back down to go to sleep. Naruto exits his mindscape with a smile on his face and continues back to the village. They get back and head to the Hokage's office, who pays them for a high B rank mission, and they all head out to celebrate their successful mission by doing Naruto's favourite pastime, going to Ichiraku Ramen. A few days after Team 7 get back to the village, they are walking around trying to find something to do, as they are on temporary leave from missions after the mission in the Land of Waves. While walking, they see an unfamiliar ninja shouting at Konohamaru for not watching where he was going and apparently ran into the Sand Ninja. Team 7 were about to ignore it, but the Sand Ninja picked up the boy by his shirt, threatening to teach him a lesson. Naruto walked over and told him to put the boy down, as he is the Hokage's grandson, so he should probably let him go and apologise. Kankuro grunts and puts Konohamaru down and turns to Team 7, telling them to get lost or they will take the boy's place. Naruto chuckles a bit and tells Kankuro that he can try, but first, what the hell are you doing in my village? Kankuro gets annoyed and was about to shout at them again, but he freezes as they all hear a cold voice telling Kankuro to calm down. We are guests in the village. Kankuro turns round and a strange looking ninja was stood there with red hair and a gourd on his back. Naruto asks who he is and Gaara responds, saying that he is Gaara of the Sand. His attention was solely on Naruto, who he could tell was extremely powerful. Gaara continues saying that those eyes are mythical, but they will be the ones who win this exam. The Sand Ninja walk away, leaving Team 7 confused as to why Sand Ninja were in the Leaf Village and what exams they were talking about. They go to look for Kakashi, who was already looking for them. Kakashi asks if they would like to participate in the Chunin exams. Sakura asks what the Chunin exams are, but Naruto answers her, telling her that the exams are to see which genin are ready to take the next step in ninja society and become the next rank of ninja. Kakashi isn't surprised that Naruto knows this, as he does spend a lot of time in the library learning about the history and therefore the hierarchy of ninja. He asks if they want to take them, and they all say yes, as Naruto and Sasuke are seeing their goals getting closer to becoming a reality, and Sakura says yes because Sasuke said yeah, and Naruto to some extent. She doesn't have the same feelings as she does for Sasuke, but she sees Naruto as a form of idol due to his kindness and strength. Kakashi smiles as he was pleased to see that they were indeed ready, and tells them the exams take place in 3 days, so they better prepare. Over the next couple of days, the team do their own training. Sasuke practices with his Sharingan, and even challenges Naruto to a couple of spars to get used to it, and get used to perceiving people like Naruto who are extremely quick. Naruto practices some of his own jutsu that he created, which, if you have any ideas as to what they could be, I'll be happy to read them in the comments. And Sakura continues practicing with her genjutsu, as she does seem to be quite talented with those types of techniques. They all become marginally stronger and more experienced due to these sessions, which will lead to better performances during the exams. Team 7 head to the exam building, and the Jitsu doesn't affect any of the team, so they just walk past without stopping. They get into a big room and see someone standing there waiting for them. He tells the team that his name is Rock Lee, and he wishes to challenge Naruto to prove his strength against the genin who killed the Demon of the Mist. Naruto accepts the challenge, which miffs Sasuke, who thought that Lee was looking down on him, but he himself has to admit that Naruto is quite a bit stronger than he is. They start the fight with Lee shooting towards Naruto, going for a swift kick to his head, but Naruto casually moves his head backwards, dodging the attack. Lee follows through with the kick, using the momentum from that attack to make his next kick faster. But again, Naruto just moves out of the way. Sasuke was amazed, as even with his Sharingan activated, that second kick was still just a blur, but Naruto just moved out of the way casually. Lee jumps back and thinks that his only option would be to open the first gate to match Naruto's speed. But while ready to open the first gate, he gets kicked in the face by a ninja who looks just like an older version of Lee. Guy tells Lee that technique has conditions and you know it, with Lee saying that he is sorry for trying. Lee turns to Naruto and respectfully thanks him for the fight and walks off to the exam room. Naruto turns to his team, saying that was weird, but they do need to get going, as they only have about 15 minutes to check in. They head into the exam room, and Naruto aces the exam with just his base knowledge from being in the library so much and picking up small tidbits along the way. Anko busts through the window after the exam ends and tells them all to head towards the Forest of Death for the practical phase of the exams. They all head off, and Naruto looks directly at a grass ninja who was giving off some disturbing chakra. Kurama commented on this as well, saying that he has felt it somewhere before, but can't quite remember where he felt it at this moment. But he tells Naruto to keep a close eye on him. Naruto agrees and makes a shadow clone without anyone noticing, and the clone transforms into a small bug, running over and attaching to the ninja's clothes. Naruto makes sure that his shared vision still works, and thankfully he can see through the bug clone's eyes. So he's literally got a listening bug on the grass ninja right now. Anko tells them all to go inside the tent and get their scrolls. Team 7 go in and receive an earth scroll, which Naruto keeps hold of, as he was the strongest one in the group by a considerable amount. Anko counts down from 10, and when she shouts go, all the gates open and all the teams rush through, starting the second exam. Naruto makes 5 shadow clones, who all run in different directions, tracking down teams that hopefully have the scrolls that they need, while Team 7 make a quick run to the centre towards the tower. While Team 7 are jumping through the trees towards the tower at the centre, Naruto is giving updates to his teammates on how his shadow clones were doing, letting them know if there were any powerful teams that managed to take out any of his clones. But Naruto was smiling, seeing that most of the teams, after seeing the Rinnegan, simply hand over the scrolls, not really wanting to fight the ninja that took out Zabuza, and also not wanting to fight the person with 2 very spirally purple eyes. He tells this to Sakura and Sasuke, with Sasuke asking if any of them had the scroll that they needed, to which Naruto focuses a little bit and sees that 3 of them actually do have a heaven scroll, so they have plenty to go around. But as Naruto is saying this, one of his clones sees a tail coming towards their face, and then nothing. The clone just gets destroyed. Sasuke, seeing the confused look on Naruto's face, asks him what's wrong, and Naruto tells him what happened. But Naruto loses contact with another clone. But this time, he not only lost eyesight with that clone, but he could see the clone get destroyed from the small bug clone that, if you remember, I had him put on the grass ninja, quote unquote. That he put on the grass ninja. He now knows that the person who was taking out his clones was the weirdo from before, the one with the very long tongue. You know. He keeps an eye on the clone and its whereabouts, but notices that his connection to the clone's eyes seems to be getting better and better very fast. And the real Naruto can sense the ninja getting closer and closer, showing that, much like Wi-Fi, the closer to the source, the better the signal. He tells Sasuke and Sakura to get ready for a fight, as that strange ninja is coming here, and he's coming fast. Team 7 jump to a secluded area and wait for the ninja to turn up, but Sakura screams as a giant snake rockets towards them from the forest, ready to take Sakura out right then and there. If not for Naruto using an almighty push, strong enough to push the snake into a huge, sharp branch, making blood spray over the area before it disappears. A slow clap emanates from around the entire area, echoing through the trees, with a creepy, almost serpent-like voice following, congratulating Naruto for his abilities, but in an almost mocking tone. Naruto shouts for the ninja to come out, but the grass ninja obliges, rising from the pool of snake blood, with a horrific smile on her face. She goads Team 7 to attack her, by telling them to keep her entertained before she kills them, while looking between Naruto and Sasuke, almost drooling at the sight of their dojutsu. Naruto tells Sasuke to stay back and runs in, taking the grass ninja on one-on-one. Naruto and the ninja get into a heated taijutsu fight, going back and forth, each landing punches and kicks on the other. But the grass ninja looked almost bored, telling Naruto that she expected more from a Rinnegan brat. Naruto started getting annoyed and started putting more force into his punches, but it still looked like they were having no effect whatsoever on the grassy knobhead. Then Naruto got an idea that if it works, it'll be very effective, but if not, it'll just leave him low on chakra for now. He continues throwing punches, but closes his eyes, focusing on his chakra, pushing a huge amount into his hand, ready for his next attack. Before landing his next punch, he shouts "Black Hole Fist," pulling the grass ninja towards him at high speeds using universal pull, and punching with the force of a condensed almighty push to the ninja's heart, sending her flying and even putting a large hole through her chest. Naruto falls to his knees, tired after using two powerful Rinnegan abilities at the exact same time, to which he wasn't used to and never thought he would be doing. Sasuke looks at Naruto amazed at the sheer power of that one attack, but froze hearing that sadistic voice again. But while she was talking, her voice was morphing into a man's voice. And then out of the woods appeared a man who was pulling flesh off his face, revealing what he really looked like. Naruto stood back up weakly, but steadied himself, ready for round 2. But this time Sasuke stood beside him, telling Naruto, "Let's finish this together." They both rush Orochimaru together and punch in between them, going back and forth like some sick game of volleyball with their feet. Well, not volleyball, piggy in the middle. Whenever he tries blocking Sasuke, Naruto hits him, and if he turns to Naruto, Sasuke slices at him with a kunai. Eventually, Orochimaru says that he's bored, and he bites Naruto while he was getting up from a failed kick attempt, implanting a curse mark on him. Seeing his best friend fall after being bitten, Sasuke gets enraged and awakens his two Tomori Sharingan. He pulls out a couple of shuriken and attaches Orochimaru to a tree, just like he did in the original, setting him on fire. Orochimaru screams a blood-curdling scream, and everything goes quiet after this, apart from the fire slowly burning away at the tree. Sasuke and Sakura run over to Naruto to see if he was okay, and both relieved to see that he's still alive, but just unconscious. Sasuke picks him up and they head into the forest to find somewhere to hide and rest before continuing the exams. They come to a clearing next to a river and lay Naruto in a small burrow and put a wet rag on his head to try and bring his fever down. Sakura gets a bit scared and concerned, as every now and again she could have sworn that his whiskers got slightly darker, but eventually chalked up to imagination or like a trick of the light. But in reality, Naruto was talking to Kurama in his mindscape and asking him what was happening. Kurama told Naruto that the serpent had bitten him and left some kind of chakra inside him. He tells Naruto that it seems to be pulling in nature energy. When Naruto asks what that means, because there won't be any books, I wouldn't think, in the library, in the Hidden Leaf in the library, Kurama tells him that nature energy will enhance your already potent chakra, increasing your speed and power, but warns him to be careful as the mark itself feels almost unstable and has some of that man's chakra inside. Naruto asks why, but Kurama shakes his head as he has no idea. But Naruto needs to find out before Kurama does anything about it, as it may be quite useful or quite dangerous. I know in my other what ifs I make Kurama destroy the mark, but I want to change it up a little bit for this series, and I'll explain why in a later episode. In the real world, Sasuke was keeping watch, making sure they weren't being tracked by any other ninja. I just want to make sure that all the events up until now happen earlier than they did in canon. So right now is about the time that Sasuke would have been bitten by Orochimaru in canon. Which, for the people who kind of like the idea of Sasuke not getting bit by him or not getting the curse mark, you're not going to like the next bit. Orochimaru's head appears from the ground, slithering up Sasuke's back and clamping his jaws on his neck, putting a curse mark on Sasuke as well. Sasuke screams, and Sakura comes out just in time to see a long neck slither away, confirming to her that, well, what had just happened. Sasuke falls over with the same symptoms as Naruto, so Sakura grabs Sasuke and pulls him next to Naruto, putting a wet cloth on his head as well. It's been hours since Orochimaru bestowed the curse marks on Naruto and Sasuke, and in this time Sakura had ran back and forth between the river to get cold water in hopes of saving her teammates from dying from the curse mark. Before Sakura breaks down crying, her blood runs cold as she hears 3 people shouting for the Uzumaki and the Uchiha to come out of hiding before they destroy the entire area. Sakura was shaking with fear. Not only are they threatening everyone in the area, but the 2 people who could protect her, she thought we were dying. As the noises come closer and closer, and with no other options, she comes up with an idea that might work. She jumps into a large bush and starts weaving hand signs. She makes 2 normal clones and makes them transform into Sasuke and Naruto, and makes them lie on the floor, making them mirror what is happening to the real Naruto and Sasuke. After a few moments, the 3 sound ninja make their way into the grove Team 7 were in, and they laugh, seeing their targets unconscious. Sakura makes the 2 clones get up, and at the same time she readies another technique, the demonic illusion hell viewing jutsu. She traps the sound ninja in this genjutsu, betting on the snake man telling them how strong Naruto and Sasuke were, and then being cautious. Well, I'm betting on them being cautious around them, and thankfully she was correct. Inside the minds of the sound ninja, Naruto and Sasuke activated their dojutsu and started their assault on Team Dosu. While in the real world they were stood still, and Sakura was the one who was attacking them, dealing some damage, taking out the girl to start with, knocking her out cold. But Sakura was running out of chakra fast, and Dosu was starting to see some discrepancies in the world. Like, some of the attacks seem to hurt less, even though they should have hurt a lot more than the last one. Before Sakura runs out of chakra, Dosu makes a hand sign and releases the jutsu on both him and Zaku, seeing the girl Kin on the floor knocked out by Sakura. Dosu commends her on the ingenuity of the idea, but ultimately it only delayed the inevitable. Weakly, Sakura stumbles away, getting closer to the burrow that Naruto and Sasuke were actually in, calling out their names, trying to wake them up. She falls to the ground exhausted, and Zaku feels hatred towards this girl for making a fool out of him. This was all it took for Kurama, as he shocked Naruto's entire chakra system to wake him up, telling him that his teammate was in danger. Naruto's eyes fly open, and thick orange chakra surrounds his whole body, giving him the one-tailed chakra cloak. Everyone could feel the overwhelming pressure coming from the burrow, and then Naruto runs out on all fours, striking at Zaku and Dosu, knocking them away. Naruto was extremely angry which was only being amplified by Kurama's chakra. But not too much, as Kurama wasn't trying to possess him, as, like I said in the last part, they have become somewhat friends, and they have been this for a while. Kurama frantically tries to take away the emotional reaction of his chakra, succeeding slightly, calming Naruto's mind down to his normal logical level. With a clearer mind, Naruto remembers last time he had Kurama's chakra and pushed it all into his eyes, diminishing the chakra cloak, but when Naruto's eyes opened, Dosu felt complete and utter fear, as Naruto's Rinnegan had developed to a two Tomoe and had a slight tint of red. Naruto could see better and felt a new form of power waiting to be used, and knowing his teammates were in danger, he was all too willing to test it out. He tried to use his eyes' abilities instead of the six paths, and Dosu and Zaku fall to the ground getting weaker and weaker as their chakra was getting pulled out of them quickly, going straight into Naruto. Naruto is surprised by this, not knowing that it would happen, and while thinking quickly, he puts his hands on Sakura's back, redirecting the chakra into her instead, revitalizing her entire chakra system. Dosu screams for Naruto to stop, surrendering and throwing his scroll at Naruto. Naruto is forced to stop pulling out chakra, as Sakura is now back to 100%, like the way a battery stops charging after being filled. And Dosu grabs Kin, and Team Dosu run from the monster that is Naruto. Sakura looks at Naruto with a slight fear, but overwhelming admiration to see what he can really do. Just a quick side note, when Naruto has his Tomoe activated, his six paths powers become significantly enhanced, like not having to touch something or someone to take the chakra away. This will also extend to his other abilities. He will access new powers later on, but for now I think he's a bit overpowered as he is at the moment. I don't want to make him too strong at the moment, as I do in the other what ifs I've done. They go back inside to check on Sasuke, who was still in pain but was slowly coming around. He wakes up peacefully, unlike the original where he was woke up by Sakura screaming, and now Naruto catches him up to speed with what happened. Sasuke gets a little bit bitter at hearing Naruto's newfound strength, but like always he attributes it to his Rinnegan. Naruto also tells him about the curse mark, telling him everything that Kurama had told him about it, and warns Sasuke not to use it. Sasuke asks how they will finish the exam without him using his chakra, and Naruto, in a kind of matter-of-fact tone, tells him that he will just have to use taijutsu until we can find a way to fix it. Naruto rubs the back of his neck, as he can now feel the repercussions of using his own chakra, but knows it will be far worse for Sasuke, who doesn't have a tailed beast, trying to keep it in check. They continue through the forest as fast as they can, getting to the tower within minutes from where they were. They walk inside and see that only Gaara's group got there before them, which annoys Sasuke, as they weren't the first. But they walk into a room opening both scrolls, with Kakashi popping out congratulating them on passing this exam. Naruto asks how much time they have before the next stage, and Kakashi tells them that they still have a few hours to go. Naruto looks at Sasuke, and knowing they have time, Sasuke nods, and they tell Kakashi about the man in the forest, and that he put a mark on both him and Sasuke. Kakashi takes a look and tells them both to come with him, with Sakura tagging along to see what happens. They go to the basement and Kakashi draws two ceiling circles, but before the ritual begins, Naruto quickly changes something in both seals. Kakashi asks what that was for, with Naruto explaining that if he does it this way, the downsides of the mark should be relatively subsided, while the nature energy aspects should remain, making the mark somewhat beneficial, instead of deteriorating the body. Kakashi looks slightly shocked, but isn't too surprised, as Naruto's IQ for Jutsu and just his intelligence overall is way off the charts. Naruto and Sasuke stand in the circles, and Sakura starts biting her nails, worried about what was going to happen. Kakashi starts the jutsu, and both of them fall to the ground in pain, as their curse marks were slowly being sealed. Sakura tries to intervene, seeing that they're both in pain, but Naruto, through gritted teeth, tells her to stay put. This is the best thing they can do. After the jutsu is complete, Kakashi starts panting, having to seal two people at the same time, and both Sasuke and Naruto are on the floor groaning from the pain. Sakura runs over to Sasuke, helping him up, with Naruto on his own struggling to his feet. They all hear a familiar voice coming from the shadow of the doorway, saying what a pity it is, but it won't stop the inevitable. The same snake man from before walks out of the shadows, showing the creepily happy expression on his face, seeing his two most prized possessions. They all get ready to attack or defend, with Kakashi confident in this version of the story that they would be able to take him down. But Orochimaru simply laughs, telling the boys he will be seeing them very soon, before descending into the floor, leaving them all confused. Why was he happy that they were sealed? Or was it something else he was happy about? These two questions flowed through Naruto's head, but no time for that. They had an exam to get to. They make their way upstairs just in time for the Hokage to announce the preliminary rounds. All the genin walk up to the balconies overlooking the fighting stage and wait for their names to be called. All of them looking forward to fighting and watching other people fight, seeing how far they've come. The first names to be called are Kin and Sakura. From the other side of the room, Kin smiles, thinking how lucky she is to finally get her own revenge on what that girl did to her. But Sakura was also smiling, and when they get down to the fighting stage, Sakura makes a remark saying she no longer has her team's mates to fight for her this time. Kin gets enraged at his comment, and as soon as the proctor shouts go, Kin rushes to Sakura, trying to grab her by the throat. But this is what Sakura was hoping for, because apparently she's read The Art of War. She wanted Kin to be so angry she will have more chance to put her under the same genjutsu without her having her defences up. Sakura dodges and weaves through all of Kin's wild strikes and manages to get enough distance to drop a smoke bomb. Naruto and Sasuke both smile, knowing that this fight is already over. Sakura runs out of the smoke, trying to blindside Kin, but Kin punches Sakura with enough strength to make her burst. Crap, it was a shadow clone. Everything goes dark, and a huge avatar of Sakura stands there looking down at Kin. But before she could release the genjutsu, she got knocked out by the real Sakura, who was already on top of her as soon as she cast the genjutsu. Team 7 erupt with cheers at Sakura's victory, and even Ino lets out a small smile, seeing how strong Sakura had become. Next up is Shino versus Dozu, and to be honest, it would probably go the same as the fight against Zaku. but even faster. Because Dosu would be easier to beat, as bugs don't actually have an inner ear or ear canal, so they wouldn't become dizzy due to the sound waves. So it'd be a fairly underwhelming victory for Shino. After this would be Tenten versus Zaku. Tenten would summon her weapons and run in to strike Zaku, but he would simply pull his arm out of his slings and use airwaves to send Tenten and her weapons away. But as she gets pushed back, Tenten notices that in Zaku's arms, she sees the pipes that lets him use his chakra in that way. And because they come out of pipes, because they're pipes, it comes out in a cone shape, which is a very obvious limitation. Tenten smiles and pulls out every scroll she has, opening them long enough and far enough to get past the edge of the Jitsu's range. She uses her chakra to summon all of her weapons, which does take a massive toll. But with the last of her strength, she launches all of them towards Zaku. Some of them get blasted away because they're in range, but the others that actually matter make it through, stabbing through Zaku's clothes, pinning him to the ground and rendering his arms all but useless. As the only one to be able to move, albeit only a tiny bit, Tenten is declared the victor of the fight. Next up is Kiba versus Shikamaru. This is another fight that I think would be a bit boring. I can only assume that Shikamaru would try to catch Kiba in Shadow Possession Jitsu, and Kiba and Akamaru would have no choice but to continuously dodge. But in the same way Shikadai catches Boruto, I hate myself for referencing that show, by the way, because I really don't like it. Shikamaru would probably extend the shadow into a huge circle in order to capture Kiba and Akamaru, beating Kiba by making him nut the wall, knocking him out. So Shikamaru wins. I'm just gonna stop by here for a sec. I'm sorry for going through these fights so quickly, but I'll explain why later. Well, I won't explain why later. It's the fact that this part would go on for fucking ever if I went through every one of them with precise detail. Next up is Naruto versus Hinata, and Hinata looks incredibly nervous to be face to face with Naruto, especially in a fight. Naruto notices this and tells Hinata to hold nothing back, with a sincere smile on his face. Hinata smiles back and nods, launching towards Naruto, trying to strike at his chakra points. But he dodges every strike, and almost as if he was coaching her, keeps telling her to focus. Inside of Naruto, Kurama laughs, telling Naruto that he sure is cocky. But after a few seconds he stops laughing, when he senses someone's hatred, but can't tell who it's coming from, but knows that it's directed towards Hinata. Kurama conveys this to Naruto, and Naruto's expression changes as he looks around the room, trying to see for himself, but it's a bit difficult as he has to dodge. He stops moving eventually, and Hinata seals one of his chakra points, showing Naruto what that fighting technique actually does. Naruto turns to Hinata and, very apologetic, says that he's sorry for having to do this, and chops her to the back of the neck, painlessly as he can, knocking her out. He catches her before she falls, and catches a glimpse of Neji, who looked beyond angry, almost like he wanted Hinata to be hurt more. Naruto looks directly at him, his eyes glowing purple. But sensing it, Kurama tells Naruto to calm down. Hopefully, they will get a chance to teach him a lesson in how to properly respect a lady. Naruto lays Hinata down next to Sasuke, waking her up, making sure she's okay. But Hinata's entire body goes red, and she just passes out, making Kakashi chuckle a bit. The next fight is Rock Lee versus Yoroi, I think his name is. If I'm wrong, let me know. But there's really no point in covering this fight. Sasuke won in canon by mimicking Rock Lee, and this is actually Rock Lee, so he doesn't stand a chance. So next is Ino versus Choji. This fight, I think, would end fairly quickly as well. But I think while knowing Choji's techniques, she would try and use mind transfer straight away, while Choji tries to use human boulder. And with Ino's mind in Choji's head, and her body getting hit by Choji, which would hurt a lot, I think it may end up knocking them both out, as Choji becomes dizzy as it is with human boulder. So his body would be a bit out of sorts, so probably knock him out. So it would end up with both of them losing. Full disclaimer, the reason I made both of them lose, because there's an uneven amount of fights. And in canon, Ino and Sakura do lose to each other, which makes the fights even. So the final round of the Chunin exams is pairs of fights and not like a 3-man fight. But either way, I'm getting off topic. Next is Neji versus Kankuro. The fight would start with Kankuro quickly pulling out his puppet, as he has already seen how the Hyuga clan fight, knowing that it's close range. But he doesn't know that Neji is far more powerful than Hinata is. Kankuro sends his puppet in to attack Neji, but Neji, who had his Byakugan activated, could see the chakra threads that were connected to the puppet from Kankuro clear as day. Neji dodges them, and then dodges the puppet, and then cuts the chakra threads completely off, leaving Kankuro completely defenseless for a few seconds. But that's all Neji needs, as he flies in, hitting most of Kankuro's chakra points and knocking him out. After the fight is over, Neji looks up to Naruto with disdain on his face, while Naruto looks at Neji the same way after seeing this, and knowing that he would have done the same to Hinata given the chance, as Kurama had actually gifted Naruto the ability to sense people's emotions, well, at least to some extent, after Kurama having to tell Naruto about someone's hatred towards Hinata. So he's just gone, right, there you go, sense that yourself, mate, I can't be asked anymore. Now, the final round, Sasuke versus Gaara. They both descend to the fighting stage, with Naruto telling Sasuke that he better not lose, with Sasuke shooting a thumbs up to Naruto. Sasuke and Gaara stare at each other, and when the proctor tells them to start, neither of them move, as they are both waiting to see how the other one reacts. Eventually, Sasuke gets bored and launches towards Gaara, throwing a punch, but gets blocked by the sand, with Gaara not moving a muscle. Sasuke tries again with his Sharingan activated, and the same thing happens. Even as Sasuke tries jumping over the sand simply blocks him, and blocking every attempt. He jumps back and launches a fireball jutsu at Gaara, which again gets blocked by the sand. But this was a distraction, as Sasuke ran behind Gaara while he couldn't see, but he gets impaled by the sand. Sasuke explodes into lightning, making the sand retreat a bit and showing that it was in fact a lightning clone. And the real Sasuke runs through the lightning, almost getting close enough to lay a hand on Gaara. However, the sand wraps around Sasuke's legs, throwing him into the wall with enough force to send Sasuke through it, completely knocking him out. So, Gaara wins. Without the training that Sasuke had in the original for the final exam against Gaara, I don't see a way that he'd win here. Because, as far as I remember, Gaara didn't train between the preliminaries and the actual final exam. So he's just as strong as he was in the final exams in canon, and Sasuke is nowhere near. Oh, he doesn't have the training from Kakashi. After the preliminaries are over, the Hokage congratulates them all for showing their strength, and tells them all that they have a month to train before the final exam. They all get ready to leave, but Naruto locks eyes with Gaara and Neji in a small contest of wills, shall I say, as he has a problem with both of them now. Neji for showing what he'd do to Hinata if he had the chance, like the way he beat the crap out of Kankuro, and Gaara for sending Sasuke through a wall. Naruto leaves with Sakura to go and check on Sasuke, and after making sure he's okay and taking him to get treated, because let's face it, he's going to have a concussion, they begin their 1 month training. While Naruto and Sakura are visiting Sasuke after his loss to Gaara, the nurse tells him he only had a few broken ribs and a bruised bone in his arm. He should be okay to leave within the next month after some rest and proper treatment. Sasuke, who was still in a bit of pain after the anaesthetics, smiles at Naruto and Sakura, telling them he won't miss their fights and Naruto better beat Gaara. Naruto gives a smirk and tells Sasuke he'll beat him for both of them. And all three of them share a really good laugh, knowing that Naruto would wipe the floor with anyone at the exam. After they leave, Sakura tells Naruto that she's going to go and ask Kurenai for some genjutsu training, and that the next time they see each other will be in the finals of the exam. Naruto smiles, thankful that Sakura is really taking her training seriously, and vows to her that they will have a good fight for the right to be Chunin. After this, Sakura runs off to find Kurenai, while Naruto heads to the middle of the forest to practice with his Rinnegan abilities, and maybe come up with some new jutsu while he's there. He begins by going over his main powers and jutsu, which is the abilities granted by the Deva Path. Naruto tries to focus and gain more mastery over it by starting with a large rock, pulling it towards him, then pushing it away, then moving on to a bigger rock, so on and so forth, until he gets to a large tree that was rooted into the ground. He could feel the resistance from the roots as he was pulling, and pulled harder and harder before it ripped out of the ground, then having to think quickly pushing it away. Naruto smiled to himself and made 20 shadow clones, knowing that this is exactly what he needs. He needs to do resistance training. Over the next few hours, Naruto and his clones basically made, a new training field. They changed the landscape. He even uses his abilities to fill the holes in with the dirt that gets ripped out, repairing some of the damage. As he was training, however, he could tell he was being watched by someone, but he didn't recognise the chakra signature. Naruto turned round and looked towards a tree, seeing a tall man with a long white mane standing there looking at him. The man walks over to Naruto and holds his hand up, showing that he wasn't any kind of threat. Then Naruto sees the man's headband and instantly realises who this is. A member of the legendary signing, Lord Jiraiya. Naruto bows in respect, but Jiraiya laughs, telling Naruto not to do that. Well, not yet. Naruto gets confused by the not yet part, but Jiraiya continues, telling Naruto that he's trained someone before with a Rinnegan, and he grew to be a very powerful shinobi, and he didn't even start off as a ninja. So he is probably the only person alive who can help him master his abilities. So if Naruto accepts, then Jiraiya will personally train him on his other abilities. Naruto accepts instantly. I mean, like he said, he's the only one who has seen the Rinnegan in action. Well, that's alive anyway. Jiraiya smiles and tells Naruto that they will go to the mountains to train. I think there's already enough damage done to the forest, don't you? Naruto looks a bit sheepish, but agrees, and they make their way to the peak of the mountain. Jiraiya asks Naruto how much he knows about his own powers, and Naruto explains to Jiraiya that he has some level of control over the forces of attraction and repulsion, and to some extent can take chakra away from others, but with Kurama's help, his powers become stronger. Jiraiya raises an eyebrow and asks who Kurama is, and Naruto, realising that no one else actually knows that's the real name of the Ninetales, and he's not as bad as everyone makes out. He's my friend. Jiraiya is dumbfounded to hear this, and asks if he has used the 9 Kurama's chakra a lot. But Naruto shakes his head, telling Jiraiya that the seal restricts his power too much, and only really comes out when Naruto himself or Kurama is angry. Jiraiya thinks about this for a fair few minutes, and asks for Naruto to put him under a genjutsu, so he can talk to Kurama himself directly. Naruto closes his eyes and asks Kurama if that's okay. Kurama tells Naruto that if he trusts the old man, then he trusts Naruto's judgment, so why not? Naruto wouldn't put him in any harm. Naruto opens his eyes in the real world and looks directly into Jiraiya's eyes, putting him in direct contact with Kurama. Jiraiya was a fairly bit scared of Kurama, but either way, he needs to get out of the way. He asks Kurama why he helps Naruto, and Kurama, a bit gruffly, answers by saying that Naruto is special, and he believes in the world he wants to create, and someday it will be that way. Jiraiya smiles and says he was thinking the same thing. I think Naruto may be the true child of prophecy. The child destined to bring peace and connect everyone in the world. Kurama smiles, knowing that this is the case, due to him being the reincarnation of Ashura, who has his father's will. Kurama doesn't tell this to Jiraiya, but it's clear to Jiraiya that the Ninetales really does believe in Naruto, and really wants to help. That's good enough for him. Jiraiya tells Kurama to listen to what he says to Naruto, as it pertains to you as well. Kurama looks confused, but nods nevertheless. And Jiraiya breaks out of the mindscape, then tells Naruto that the seal that contains the Ninetales has a key, but at the moment he doesn't have access to it. So he will teach Naruto the 5-pronged seal, which will help loosen the seal that Minato palm. Jiraiya shows Naruto this technique, and is again shocked when Naruto copies it perfectly the first time. Jiraiya then tells Naruto to lift his shirt and place his fingers on the seal that presents itself while using your chakra. Naruto does as instructed, and then he gets told to turn his hand counterclockwise. The moment he does, Naruto can feel his connection to Kurama and his chakra skyrocket. And to show that it worked, Naruto uses Kuruma's chakra and pushes it into his eyes, gaining 3 Tomoe each, 1 for each tail that he can access. Again, absolutely speechless. I mean, they've only been training for a couple of hours, and Naruto knows the 5-prong seal and can use a lot more of Kuruma's chakra. And most of that time was spent walking to the mountain. So they decide to give Naruto's newfound eyes a test and get into a taijutsu bout. No jutsu used at all. After a few minutes, both Jiraiya and Naruto come to see what this new ocular evolution does. Well, base anyway, without using any abilities. Naruto with these eyes has some form of precognition, able to see roughly 2/10 of a second ahead of time. Basically the 3 Tomoe Sharingan on crack. Because while you can confuse a Sharingan by doing something completely different than what you're going to, with the Rinnegan you are pretty much seeing through time at this point. However, it is extremely taxing to maintain, so Naruto should only use this when against an opponent who has a serious speed advantage on him, or someone who's very unpredictable. After the training session is over, Jiraiya tells Naruto what he knows about the other paths of the Rinnegan. A user of the Rinnegan can heal from any injury short of death by using the King of Hell, even using it on other people. They can summon different kinds of animals apart from the normal summons. I'll teach you how to use that jutsu soon. You can also take people's chakra, which you already have some basic understanding of, and also being able to weaponize your own body and even grow extra limbs if necessary. Naruto's eyes grow wide, thinking about all this information and all the abilities that he has access to that he would have never even thought about. Jiraiya laughs seeing Naruto's face again and decides to show him the summoning jutsu to start with. This time he doesn't get him to sign the scroll, as he doesn't know what would happen if Naruto tried with the Rinnegan. They'd have to find out off Ma and Pa told later. After this, Naruto tries the jutsu and he summons a 3-headed dog, a giant chameleon, and a big bastard bird. Still being a kid, Naruto jumps onto the bird and goes for a fly around, laughing while riding about and going as high into the sky as his lungs would let him, astonished by the view and even more the huge amount of potential that's inside of him. Naruto descends back to the floor with Jiraiya and asks what's next, but Kurama tells Naruto to get some rest first of all. He doesn't want to waste all his chakra on the first date, really, does he? They find a small cave to sleep in and talk about the other paths and ways they could be used in battle. The next morning, they begin working on Naruto's other abilities, with Naruto finding the Ashura path being the hardest to grasp, which I'm sure many people would find hard to understand. Growing extra limbs is a bit hard to wrap their heads around, especially when you realise that you can literally make a rocket launcher from your arm. However, after he gets all of these abilities down, not all of them, because there's some that Jiraiya doesn't even know about yet, and is able to use the King of Hell to its fullest extent, Jiraiya puts Naruto through some really harsh training. Some sessions are enough to even nearly kill him. And every session, Naruto tries to use even more of Kuruma's chakra, gaining more little by little, now being able to use 4 tails without anything clouding his mind whatsoever. By anything I do mean Kuruma's innate hatred, even though he doesn't want to control Naruto in this timeline. After the month is over, Naruto had new clothes after them being shredded, based on Jiraiya's, but keeping some of his own orange and adding a bit of purple for his eyes. Well, to show his eyes more, because, Rinnegan. I'm sorry, I wish I was a good enough artist to draw what I have in my mind. If someone manages, please send it, and I will use it as a thumbnail. Jiraiya tells Naruto that during the final exam, he will be watching as well, so he better do well. Naruto laughs and tells him that with all the training, there's no way he was going to lose. Jiraiya beams proudly over his newest student, and before he goes home, tells him there is another jutsu he wants to teach him, but he will only learn it if he beats the exam and becomes a chunin. Naruto shoots a thumbs up and summons his bird, flying back to the village and jumping off, landing bang in the middle of the arena, ready to take out his first opponent, Neji Hyuga. Before the rest of the Genin left the field, they could feel, in fact everyone could feel, the tension between Naruto and Neji, almost like electricity flowing through the air around them. They all leave with just those two remaining for the first fight. The proctor goes over the rules and asks them if they are both ready, with both Naruto and Neji staring each other down, simply nodding. In the stands next to Hiruzen, Jiraiya had finally got there, a little out of breath, not wanting to miss this fight, knowing that Naruto has really been looking forward to this. The proctor tells them to begin, and Neji immediately activates his Byakugan, looking a little wary, but Naruto was stood calm, still staring directly into those pale eyes. Some of the crowd was shouting with excitement, while the others were waiting silently with bated breath at what was going to happen. But the entire crowd fell silent as Naruto started to speak, still very calm. Neji, you see yourself as better than everyone because of your strength, because of your natural talent. Those eyes of yours giving you an edge against your opponents. And I get it. Everyone in the crowd was completely shocked at Naruto saying this. The village, his classmates and his teachers couldn't believe Naruto was agreeing with Neji's worldview. Even Kurama was about to yell at Naruto, but stopped as Naruto continued talking. I said I agree with you being stronger due to the circumstances of your birth. However, you see your power as the pinnacle of strength, with everyone else below you. That's arrogance. Your feelings towards Hinata, that's hatred for no reason. She never did anything to you, and you'd have killed her in the last exam given the chance, wouldn't you? While saying this, the ground around Naruto started cracking, with his chakra being pushed out of his body, while still trying to control his own anger. He then locked eyes with Neji's. The glowing amethyst of the Rinnegan locked with the pale eyes of the Byakugan. This sent shivers up Neji's spine. In fact, everyone's, as most hadn't seen Naruto this serious before. It was terrifying for the people who could feel Naruto's chakra. It was like rising tides, coming from him ready to destroy anything in its path. Neji steeled his nerves and jumped towards Naruto, shouting that he doesn't know anything. But as Neji was closing in, he gets shot back as Naruto used Almighty Push, still trying to remain calm as Neji smashed into the wall. Pulling himself up, Neji started throwing kunai and shuriken at Naruto, but not a single one managed to even touch him, as he simply moved his body out of the way. Naruto raised his hand towards Neji again, who braced himself to be pushed into the wall, but he started screaming as the reverse happened, Naruto used Almighty Push, bringing Neji to him. Grabbing Neji by the front of his shirt, Naruto reasserted what he said previously. I felt what you wanted to do. Your hatred towards Hinata. She never did anything to you. Naruto's eyes then began to form Tomura, sending untold fear through Neji's body as it began to shake. Once again using Almighty Push, Naruto sent Neji away from him, then creating 4 shadow clones, telling Neji that if he doesn't forfeit now and stop going down his current path, then he'll stop him right now by force. Neji shouts that he'll never change his path. The main branch family took his father from him, and he will get his revenge. With Naruto looking disappointed, and even Kurama having a similar reaction. Naruto and his clones raise their hands, all using different elemental jutsu. As the glows from each element reach their fingertips, they all shout 5 elemental barrage. As the streams of the jutsu all fly towards Neji, the crowd starts cheering, some even shouting for Naruto to teach that kid a lesson. As the jutsu was about to reach Neji, he quickly rotated his body, expelling chakra, using his 8 trigrams palm rotation, nullifying the jutsu. This surprised Naruto, as he wasn't expecting anything like that. But unfortunately, by showing this to Naruto, Neji had lost this fight, and he makes sure to tell him this. He again uses his elemental barrage, with Neji using his rotation. But quickly, Naruto stopped the barrage and rushed forward, absorbing the chakra from the palm rotation, letting his shadow clones move in for an attack. 2 of the clones use Almighty Push from opposite sides, crushing Neji between the gravitational forces, feeling like 2 brick walls. While from the side, the other 2 covered their arms in mechanical gauntlets, uppercutting Neji into the air at an insane speed. The clones disperse as the real Naruto looks up into the stands to see Lee. He gives him a smile and a thumbs up. Then disappearing from sight, having jumped up at a faster speed than Neji, grabbing him and using his own version of Primary Lotus, smashing Neji into the floor, creating a large smoke screen, with everyone waiting in anticipation. As the dust began to settle, someone walked out of it. Naruto, who was no worse for wear, while behind him was Neji, in a small hole, completely knocked out. The proctor raises Naruto's hand, declaring him the winner, as every Leaf citizen, including the Hokage, started clapping and congratulating Naruto. Jiraiya even came down from the stands, giving Naruto a high five, proud of his godson, mostly for giving Neji the chance to change, not just going straight for a KO. Orochimaru, who has taken the place of the Kazekage, was shaken with both excitement and fear. On one side, he had seen firsthand what the Rinnegan is really capable of, and the wielder already has his curse mark. But on the other hand, if he makes a move against the brat, he will have the Hokage, Jiraiya, and Naruto to contend with, not to mention the other Leaf Jonin. But while scanning the crowd, he notices that his other option isn't there. Sasuke was still in the hospital. He gives the signal to start the invasion early, and the Genjutsu descends upon the crowd, putting the civilians to sleep, and everyone who couldn't break out of the Genjutsu. Naruto looks around having very keen eyes, and could see Hiruzen and Jiraiya heading away both in the same direction, towards the hospital. Using the summoning jutsu, Naruto gets on his huge bird and catches up to the two of them, very quickly grabbing both of them using the Asura path to make very long metal arms to pull them up, asking what happened. Jiraiya tells Naruto that his old friend is back in the village and he seems to be after Sasuke. Naruto grabs the back of his neck, holding on to his curse mark, as he then gets in touch with Kurama, asking if there's anything that he found out about the mark. Kurama had a very severe expression on his face and tells Naruto of his hypothesis. The mark seems to have a direct connection with the man who had bestowed it, this case being the serpent. It appears to be a way to possess people, to take control of a person's body while maintaining all of the host's abilities. Naruto's eyes grow wide, now knowing why the Sannin had given one to him and Sasuke. He wants both the Sharingan and the Rinnegan. Naruto leaves his mindscape and his eyes start to form Tomoe, giving his chakra a massive amp in power, making the Hokage concerned, as this was a lot of concentration of chakra and just overall strength inside a child. With this new increase in power, Naruto darted off the bird at speed which made his two passengers flinch, heading straight for the Snake Sannin, who had just made it into Sasuke's room. The Hokage and Jiraiya both notice in the distance that Gaara is wreaking havoc inside the village, sensing the power of a tailed beast surging from it. Not wanting to leave Naruto, Jiraiya tells the Hokage that he will stay and help. But as he says this, the bird does a huge U-turn, heading back towards the village, as one of Naruto's shadow clones lands on the bird, explaining that the village needs them more than he does. Save them, leave Orochimaru to him. Both the Hokage and Jiraiya started to protest, but the shadow clone, apologising first, uses almighty push, sending them both back to the village. After this happens, an explosion comes from the hospital room, with Orochimaru getting launched out to the other side of the village through a wall. After standing up and collecting himself, he looks up to see two silhouettes looking towards him, with bright purple and bright red eyes, locking to his own reptilian. Naruto tells Orochimaru that they can now continue their battle from the Forest of Death, with Sasuke finishing his sentence, "This time, Orochimaru, you die." Looking down at the person who caused them so much pain in the Forest of Death, and after what Naruto had told Sasuke about what this person wanted to do to either him or Naruto or both of them, Sasuke's rage reached completely different heights. This man wanted to take over his body, wanted to take Naruto's body. He wouldn't let this disgusting being take his revenge away from him or his best friend. Sasuke's eyes went through another evolution as the third Tomoe had finally appeared, giving him a new perspective on the coming battle. With these eyes, he could do it. He could end this grotesque creature once and for all. Seeing this new development, Orochimaru felt spoilt for choice. He started to drool, thinking of all the power on display in front of him. Maybe he should give it a test? Orochimaru shot towards the two genin, slithering along the floor at fast speeds. But with their dojutsu, Naruto and Sasuke could easily keep up and defend themselves from the Sannin, as he started using his striking Shadow Snake. Sasuke used the Great Fireball Jutsu to make Orochimaru dodge, but by doing this, he landed right in front of Naruto, who used his almighty push, concentrating into a palm strike, which sent the Sannin through multiple trees. Getting back up quickly, he had to defend against an enraged Sasuke, who had two kunai swinging wildly, trying to cut off the head of the snake. This made Orochimaru chuckle a little bit at the speed and ferocity Sasuke was showing. He tried to use his tongue to bind Sasuke and take him away from Naruto, but was cut off by Naruto, who had thrown one of his shadow clones at the both of them, grabbing Sasuke whilst simultaneously cutting Orochimaru's tongue clean off. Screaming in pain, Orochimaru shed his skin, speeding off into the forest, with Naruto and Sasuke hot on his heels. They reach a clearing which looked oddly familiar to the one that they received their curse marks in. All of a sudden, a huge snake came barreling from the trees just like it did before. Naruto, using the Asura Path, made a missile launcher, sending missiles after missile into the snake's mouth, causing it to desummon on impact. Naruto laughed and said if you want to play with summonings, then fine. Biting his thumb, Naruto summoned a huge chameleon, which then blended into the treetops looking for Orochimaru. Sasuke was stunned, seeing this, wondering how powerful Naruto had truly become since they last fought together. But this was a conversation for later, as Orochimaru came flying from the trees, with the chameleon landing on top of him, keeping him still. Naruto weaved hand signs for Wind-style Rising Wind, as Sasuke was ready in the Great Fireball Jutsu. They used their combined attack as the chameleon desummons, getting a direct hit on the serpent, screams echoing throughout the forest until they died down, signalling that the job was finished. They destroyed their target. Happy to have one less foe to deal with, they start walking back to the village, laughing between themselves and congratulating each other on their newfound strength. Naruto then looked very strange, as he quickly jumped in front of Sasuke, pushing him down onto the floor. A sword running straight through Naruto, dripping onto his face. Orochimaru had stabbed straight through Naruto's lungs, dropping to the floor gasping for breath. Sasuke was sat up straight away, pressing on Naruto's wound, trying to stop the blood. But it was all in vain, as he could feel the oxygen coming from the wound. Sasuke started crying, shouting at Naruto that he can't leave him alone. Naruto weakly looked up to Sasuke, trying to say something, but the words couldn't come out. There was no air to travel on. Naruto weakly made hand signs and reached up, almost like he was pulling himself into something. Which he was pulling himself into the King of Hell's mouth. But all Sasuke could see was Naruto bleeding out and then disappearing. Sasuke screamed at the loss of his best friend, but also because of the pain running through his body. His eyes, they felt like they were burning. Blinded by the pain, he couldn't stop Orochimaru from tying his hands and feet, picking him up and running at top speeds towards the closest hideout. When Sasuke's vision returned, all he could see was the floor, under Orochimaru's arm, moving fast. He tried to break free, but the binds were way too strong. He managed to turn his head to look at the Sannin's face, who looked delighted at his newest catch. But Sasuke could feel something had changed inside, and even caught a glimpse of his eyes in a puddle, clearly seeing that his eyes had changed pattern, no longer having the same three tonneau as they did before. He pushed more chakra into his eyes, hoping for anything, when all of a sudden Orochimaru dropped him as black flames erupted from his arm. screaming in pain once more, trying to extinguish them. But this was all in vain, as the Amaterasu continued to spread over his whole body. Orochimaru once again shed his skin, but as he did, and shot out, he was slammed to the ground by something moving very fast. Too fast for even Sasuke to see right now, followed by a sickening splat and a massive rush of blood spraying into the air. When the blood landed to the floor and cleared out, Sasuke could see what happened. Naruto was stood with his face planted into the Saiyan's skull, with no wound, looking completely fine. Seeing this, Sasuke was overwhelmed with emotion, to such an extent that he actually passed out, only to wake up a few seconds later feeling completely rejuvenated, only seeing the King of Hell for a split second before it disappeared. He looks to where Orochimaru was to confirm that he was indeed still covered in blood and lifeless, to make sure that he'd never come back again. Sasuke once again pushed chakra into his eyes, using Amaterasu to end this nightmare once and for all. Naruto looks shocked seeing this kind of power come out of nowhere, but at closer inspection, he too could see that Sasuke's pattern had changed. So many questions flow through both of their minds, but before they'll answer any of them, they look at where they are and realise that they are in the final valley. Sasuke was still a bit shaken, but not about Orochimaru. He explains to Naruto that the night of the Uchiha massacre, it was his brother that had done it, and his brother had a different pattern in his Sharingan, just like he did. Naruto looked serious, having a feeling of where this is going, and his suspicion was right. Sasuke was going to leave the village to gain more power to face his brother and fulfill his lifelong goal. Naruto tells Sasuke that he can get stronger here in the village with everyone else. They can grow stronger together like they always have. But Sasuke put his hand on Naruto's shoulder and cut him off, saying he had no plans of growing stronger on his own. Naruto looked confused, but then realises what he means. Him and Sasuke would abandon the village together, and eventually face Sasuke's brother and find out the truth of why Itachi did it. Naruto takes a while to think, while Sasuke stood by, knowing what he's asking, and concerned that Naruto would turn the offer down. Eventually Naruto came up with an idea, but he needed to show Sasuke something first. A few hours later, Naruto and Sasuke make it back to the village, seeing all of the destruction, but thankfully it was all over, with very few leave casualties. They first head to the hospital, with Naruto using the King of Hell to bring everyone who was critically injured back to full health, then making their way to the Hokage's office, where Hiruzen and Jiraiya were waiting to hear the news from the battle. Naruto and Sasuke tell them both that Orochimaru is dead, this time well and truly. Jiraiya looked relieved at this and gave them both a proud thumbs up. Sasuke tells them that they need to leave the village to become stronger. They have protected the village from an internal threat. Now they need to stop any externals. Hiruzen looks confused about this, and then realises that he means Itachi. He tells Sasuke that not everything may be as it seems, remaining quite mysterious about the whole thing, but in reality he was too ashamed that he couldn't stop the man behind it. He couldn't stop his best friend from ordering a clan to be extinguished. Jiraiya tells them both that they can't leave. There's a threat out there called the Akatsuki, and it's my belief that they are after the tailed beasts. Naruto tells them both to calm down and that they will be gone for a maximum of 3 years. And we will be able to come back to the village quickly due to his summoning jutsu. I mean, he can fly there, bloody hell. And if anything goes wrong, they'll be back sooner than expected. Jiraiya was about to protest yet again, but Hiruzen stopped him, chuckling slightly, knowing what was happening. The Hokage stood up and told one of his Anbu members to go and retrieve Kakashi. And within moments, Kakashi was in the office, with Naruto telling everything to Kakashi as well. He was also about to protest, but Hiruzen tells Kakashi to quickly show Sasuke the hand signs for the Chidori, while Jiraiya needs to show Naruto the Rasengan. A bit confused at why this needs to happen now, but they do so, and with not much time, the two genin are able to use the techniques quite easily, though not to a very high level. Remember, the Rinnegan does tend to bring a lot of chakra control, and Sasuke with the base Sharingan was able to copy the Chidori, so with the Mangekyo Sharingan, it'd be quite easy. Hiruzen tells the two of them that he'll be keeping track of their movements just in case, but now they have at least some weapons to keep them safe. Jiraiya asks if he was really going to let them leave the village, but Hiruzen chuckles again, telling Jiraiya that they already have. Can't you tell they use shadow clones? The two genin chuckle slightly and thank the Hokage for allowing this, before bowing and turning into smoke. Naruto and Sasuke were on their way past the border, looking back towards the village before promising each other 3 years and we'll be back. Naruto tells Sasuke that the ramen's on him when they return, with both of them laughing, ready for the most intense training of their entire lives. An older Naruto and Sasuke are seen sparring against each other. This time they look like they were testing more than their strength. To an outside perspective, it would look like they were trying to kill each other. A Rasengan and Chidori clashing all over the place, different variants of each technique. Naruto being set on fire before absorbing the chakra, Sasuke getting sent through trees and rocks on a mountainside by Almighty Push. Every now and again they would stop to catch their breath before going at each other again. When they got truly exhausted, they would sit down next to a stream, lighting a fire and cooking some fish they had caught before talking about their current training and their current strength. Naruto turned to Sasuke, telling him that tomorrow will be their very last training session before having to return to the Leaf Village. This was a day they were both excited for, but also dreaded at the same time. I'll get onto why in a little bit. They both start talking about the first thing they would do when they get back, and Sasuke seemed a little quiet when asked this, which Naruto expected after what had happened only a year prior. Sasuke eventually answers, saying that they will have to go and see the Hokage first and have a little chat. Naruto had a solemn face, but understood what he was saying, and also nodded in agreement, muttering under his breath that something has to be done. Before going to sleep, Naruto enters his mindscape to see Kurama, who, from Sasuke using his Genjutsu and subsequently Amaterasu, was able to enter the cage and completely destroy it, letting Kurama free and granting Naruto all of his strength, well, access to his strength. Naruto asked Kurama if he had any advice of how to handle what was to come, but Kurama simply shook his head, telling Naruto that this is down to the two of them, but he has the utmost faith in both of them to do what needs to be done. Naruto gives him a half smile, and also thanking him for his confidence. The next morning, the two of them wake up, and with their time up, Naruto summons a giant bird for him and Sasuke to ride back to the village. The ride was very quiet, apart from the odd squawking coming from other birds above them. They make it back to the village at an insane speed and carry on till they reach the roof of the Hokage's office. Well, the Hokage's mansion. They look over the railing and see that the buildings have been repaired and the village was booming compared to when they left. More people had turned up, there'd been more shops, but they didn't have time to see. Well, they didn't have time to sightsee right now. They make their way down the stairs, walking into the Hokage's office. Fortunately, the only person there was the Hokage. Even the Anbu that usually hung around had been sent away. The Hokage greets them and hopes their years had been fruitful. Naruto showed his latest development in power, KCM2, while Sasuke didn't show his Mangekyo, but his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which both of these techniques took Hiruzen by surprise, nearly giving him a heart attack. I mean, he is older than the last seen him, and he was old then anyway. Sasuke formally asked the Hokage if he could put him in under a genjutsu. They all need to talk without anyone else listening. Hiruzen, having a feeling of what this was about, gives his permission, and Naruto puts his hand onto Sasuke's shoulder, connecting their chakras so he could also be in the same place, in the same genjutsu. They find themselves outside the Uchiha compound, but could see someone stood waiting for them. They move closer, and Hiruzen looks confused as they see Itachi Uchiha. Hiruzen turns to Sasuke and asks why he was showing him Itachi, here of all places. But then Hiruzen hears, "Hello, Lord Hokage." Hiruzen turns round slowly as he says this isn't part of Sasuke's genjutsu, this is actually him. Looking closer into the man's eyes, he also has an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and seems to be in perfect health. It actually explains that since obtaining the EMS, he is now able to use Tsukuyomi to enter another person's genjutsu, simply by locking onto their distorted chakra signature. Sasuke tells the Hokage that he knows the truth about the massacre, that it was Danzo who ordered it, and that his brother is only guilty for following the orders of the Leaf Village. Hiruzen, with a heavy heart, confirms this, a bit worried of what Sasuke was going to do now that he knows the truth. Sasuke was visibly angry, having all this confirmed by the Hokage, and even put his hand near his newly acquired sword. But he had years to come to terms with this. He pulls his hand away from his sword and makes a formal request. He asks if it was possible to have Danzo reprimanded for his crimes against his clan, and have Itachi come back to the village as a Leaf citizen once again, where he should be. Hiruzen looks to Itachi, asking if this is truly what he wants. Once he does this, his cover will be blown. But Itachi simply says that he helped kill his own partner. His cover is already blown. Hiruzen nods and agrees. Danzo will be held accountable for his actions, and Itachi's name will be stricken from the bingo book. Itachi then pipes in with his own request. He would like the Sharingan that Danzo took from his closest friend. Shisui's eyes shouldn't be used by the person that killed him. This was news to Hiruzen, as he didn't know Shisui. Well, he knew Shisui had died, but he didn't know that this was how. But he gives his answer to Itachi, telling him yes. Shisui was the only person who could have stopped the coup peacefully. After Minato, that is. Hiruzen was incredibly angry that his oldest friend went that far and accidentally disrupted his own chakra flow, pulling him out of the Genjutsu. He ordered Sasuke and Naruto to bring Itachi to the office unnoticed, which they turned and said they already did. Looking out the window, they could see several crows, who then entered the window, reforming Itachi's body. Hiruzen then sent a message to Danzo to come to the Hokage's office immediately. They have a matter they need to discuss. After about 10 minutes or so, Danzo enters the office and sees Sasuke and Naruto stood next to the Hokage. Danzo asks what was so urgent, and Sasuke, while trying to control himself, tells Danzo that for the crimes against the Uchiha clan, he is now under arrest. Danzo tries rationalising all this, saying that they would have destroyed the village. No one could have stopped them peacefully. But Itachi, who stood behind the door, says someone was going to, and you killed him, before ripping out Shisui's eye, causing Danzo a massive amount of pain. Danzo, knowing that he could be killed at any moment due to Itachi having the Amaterasu, decides now will be his only chance and lunges towards Naruto, trying to pluck out one of his Rinnegan. But what he didn't expect was Naruto showcasing KCM once again and punching Danzo hard enough to not only knock him out, but to send him through the wall of the office. He quickly apologised to the Hokage, while Itachi woke Danzo up, placing him in Tsukeyama, making him relive the moment he lost Shisui's Sharingan over and over again. Sakura, Kakashi and Jiraiya all appear in the Hokage's office, all very confused, as Danzo was having chakra suppression seals put onto him, and seeing Itachi Uchiha stood there. Hiruzen gives a brief rundown and explains it, and tells them that Itachi is now to be considered a Leaf Jonin once again. Then turning to Itachi, welcoming him back to the village. Itachi subsequently bows, thanking the Hokage for everything, and goes off with Sasuke back to the Uchiha compound. Naruto shouts after them, telling them that they better be ready for ramen later on. Sasuke turns around looking happier than anyone had ever seen him, and shouts that it's on him. Naruto smiles and turns to Jiraiya, happy to see him once again. Jiraiya asks how his training went, with Naruto, yet again, showing off KCM2, and even showing his newest jutsu, the Rasen Shuriken. Jiraiya's jaw dropped seeing both of these, and even Kakashi was surprised, as he couldn't even add a nature transformation to the Rasengan. Sakura's just stood at the back silently, as she looked in the direction Sasuke had walked in, looking a bit upset that he didn't even acknowledge her. Naruto put his hand on her shoulder, telling her that it's been a long few years, and now it's finally over. He just wants to make up some lost time with his brother. That's all. We're going out for ramen later, all of us, so you'll have a chance to see each other. Naruto had a huge smile on his face, which made Sakura smile herself, before welcoming Naruto back home. After a few days of everyone getting used to being back in the village, and dealing with everyone else's concerns about Itachi being back in the village, Naruto walks into the Uchiha compound, hoping to get some training in with the Uchiha brothers. He knocks on the door, with Sasuke opening it, laughing harder than Naruto had ever seen. When asked what was so funny, Sasuke, while not being able to talk, gestured as to say, "Look in the kitchen." Naruto does so, and Itachi was stood in his old Anbu gear with a face like thunder and a frying pan with ruined eggs inside. Naruto followed Sasuke, doubling over with laughter. Itachi looked over to them, telling them it's not funny, which made them both laugh even harder, before calming back down, and Naruto saying after some training they'll go get some ramen, and maybe Mr. Ichiraku could teach him how to make an egg. This did upset Itachi quite a bit, as he just wanted to make his younger brother some breakfast. But after a few moments passed, he did see the funny side, and did subsequently smile. They head out to the training field and begin with some light sparring, starting with a 2-on-1, Sasuke and Itachi versus Naruto, with Naruto holding his own quite well against both of them. But when they used their EMS, Naruto had to add Tomori to his Rinnegan in order to keep up with them both. Their training over the day got progressively more intense, as Itachi, in between spars, told them about the other members of the Akatsuki, their identities and their abilities. After a few hours, they all used the King of Hell, thanks to Naruto, to heal their wounds, but this still left them quite tired. Kakashi and Sakura walk into the clearing to tell them that the Hokage had requested their presence right away. It sounded very urgent. They all make their way to the Hokage mansion, and Hiruzen tells them that to make their way to the hidden sand, Gaara has been taken by the Akatsuki, and the Kazekage has asked for our aid. While Naruto didn't have the same connection to Gaara as the original, I mean, he doesn't really like him, but he knows that the goal of the Akatsuki is, and he can't allow them to take someone just because they're a Jinchuriki. Naruto summons a huge bird, and they all get on. Well, everyone apart from Itachi. When asked why he wasn't going, Itachi looked up and smiled, and then told Sasuke that he doesn't need his elder brother to look after him anymore. Besides, someone needs to stay back and look after the village while they're gone. Kakashi also agrees and gets off to stay with Itachi, with a similar reason, but he also wanted to train his Mangekyo Sharingan more, and who better to do that with the most experienced wielder they know of, and possibly the most experienced wielder in the world, well, as far as they're aware, alive anyway. They head off at top speed to get to the hidden sand, and make it just in time to see Sasori walking away from Kankuro's unconscious body. When Sasori sees this new group, he shouts to Deidara to get out of there with the Jinchuriki. He'll buy him some time. Sorry, I just got back from work and all the chemicals are getting on my chest. Deidara asks what was so dangerous with these kids, but getting a closer look, he sees Naruto, and more specifically, he sees the bright purple of the Rinnegan. Deidara shoots off at top speed, launching mini explosions everywhere to try and mask his escape. But he doesn't realise that while there was a very good smokescreen, Naruto had created a small tracking device using the Asura path and attached it to the dragon. They all jump down to fight Sasori, who they do know of thanks to Itachi, and furthermore they know how he likes to use poison. Not taking any chances, Sasori immediately ditches Hiriko, knowing that it won't be enough, and shows his true form while summoning all of his puppets, including the body of the third Kazekage. He uses the iron sand to bolster the other puppets with sharper limbs and stronger joints, which is the main weakness of puppets. Naruto uses the King of Hell first of all to wake up Kankuro, and he tells Kankuro to go back to the village and tell the Kazekage that they will have Gaara back very soon, just to make sure they are prepared for any others turning up to abduct him. Kankuro nods and runs full speed back to the village. Sasori tries to stop him, but the puppets that he sends were set alight by Sasuke, who uses Amaterasu, turning them to dust. Sasori does look quite worried. I mean, he'd just seen his means of attack get destroyed instantly, with no effort whatsoever. Sasori again attacks, but from multiple angles, in order to try and avoid Sasuke's gaze. But the three-leaf shinobi stood, not even flinching, as Naruto very casually says, "Almighty push," sending all of the puppets back towards Sasori, causing them all to form a big heap of bodies. Sasuke turns to Sakura with a face of amusement and simply says, "Guess it's your turn." Sakura is a bit happy. Now she can show the fruits of her training under 3 different masters. She weaves hand signs for the Earth Wall Jutsu, sending all the puppets high into the air, being pushed by the massive pillar of stone. She then uses the Summoning Jutsu, summoning a large toad to jump into the air far above the puppets, and then using her newfound monstrous strength, flies down towards the incoming puppets, delivering a devastating punch, shattering the puppets into tiny pieces, ending Sasori's life in no time at all, even destroying his core. Naruto and Sasuke are just stood speechless. They knew she had gotten stronger, but where did that strength come from? Sakura explains that the hospital has a new matron, Lady Tsunade, who was brought back to the village by herself and Lord Jiraiya. And over the past 3 years, she had trained with Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Kakashi. Naruto chuckles slightly, saying this is going to be far easier than they thought. Then using his own summoning jutsu, bringing back the bird, to jump on and follow the signal from Naruto's tracking device. After only about an hour, they come to the hideout being blocked by a massive boulder with a ceiling tag covering it. Unlike the main story when they had to remove the tags at the same time, Naruto asks Kurama if he's ready, and Kurama nods, knowing what they were about to do. Naruto undergoes tail beast transformation, creating the avatar, the massive Kurama avatar, and creating a huge tail beast bomb, smashing it right into the barrier. Not just destroying the boulder, but majority of the mountain range, which surrounded the hideout. They could see the remaining members of the Akatsuki, well, visions of them, all stood on fingers made of stone. And in the middle of the room, suspended in midair, was Gaara, who was only just having the tail beast extracted from him. Naruto, as you could probably guess, was unbelievably angry, especially when he sees one of the members of the Akatsuki, Pain, the other living wielder of the Rinnegan. Sakura runs to the centre, grabbing Gaara and pulling him out of there, while Sasuke defending her from incoming attacks from Deidara, who, after all, was pretty much the only one there. The rest of them were just projections. When Gaara was clear of the blast zone, Naruto nods to Sasuke, who then stands next to Naruto, covering Kurama in the armour from his Susanoo, hoping to destroy everyone inside in one final blast. But, like I said, the only person there was Deidara, who was eviscerated. This made Naruto and Kurama furious. All they wanted to do was track the rest of them down for what they're trying to do. But Sasuke tells them to calm down. The mission is complete, Gaara is alive and safe. They will find them, but they can't afford to lose their heads over it. Naruto slowly calms down, agreeing to what he said, with Sasuke, and they both, Naruto calms down agreeing with Sasuke, and shoves Gaara into the King of Hell, waking him up. I'm tired. Gaara thanks the group for helping him, and now gets the chance to apologise for his actions during the Chunin exams. Naruto accepts, seeing that Gaara has in fact changed who he is, and shakes his hand, before them all getting back on the bird, returning to the Leaf Village with a mission success. And, what's more, a bonus of killing 2 members of the Akatsuki. As Team 7 return to the village, they see Itachi and Kakashi stood waiting for them at the gates. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura jump off the now desummoned bird, landing in front of the 2 Jonin, asking why they were stood out here instead of being inside the village. But Naruto notices that Kakashi had his headband up, and his eye was normal for some reason. I mean, as normal as it can get with a massive scar across it. Naruto asks what happened to his Sharingan, and Itachi smiles, explaining that from Kakashi and Itachi spending a bit of time with Tsunade while they were off doing their mission, they came up with a hypothesis, which thankfully turned out to be correct. Team 7 simultaneously turned their heads, all looking like confused dogs, while Itachi continues. They thought that Kakashi couldn't turn off his Sharingan because he isn't an Uchiha, and it doesn't belong to him. However, it seems they were somewhat wrong. When the Sharingan was implanted into his eye socket, only some of his nerve endings were attached, giving the benefits of a Sharingan, but also giving him the major disadvantage that he does. Lady Tsunade extracted the eye and reattached the nerve endings and his chakra system to the eye, fully integrating it into his network, allowing him to turn it on and off, increasing his chakra pool. Just as an aside, I know it is because he isn't an Uchiha, but I just wanted to give Kakashi a full Sharingan. Also, it's only slight, but it may be possible for Tsunade to find some kind of workaround for it. I mean, she can heal people out of Tsukuyomi, so yeah. I'm not going to say it's definitely possible, but it may be possible. Either way. Team 7 are all amazed as Kakashi demonstrates this by turning his Sharingan on and off. Even more amazed that he has 2 Sharingan, not just 1. Itachi further explains that one of Shisui's eyes has been implanted as well. I mean, there's no point just having 1 Sharingan with 1 MS ability. In true Naruto fashion, he suggests that they should celebrate with ramen, to which Sasuke rolls his eyes, knowing that's what he was going to say. He reminds Naruto that they need to go and see the Hokage first. Naruto rubs the back of his head, a little bit embarrassed that he forgot, and they make their way to the mansion. As they get just outside the office, they see Hiruzen on his way out and start telling them that the mission was a success. But Hiruzen stops them, telling the 3 of them to tell the Hokage, not him, with a huge smile on his face. A bit confused, but wanting to know what was going on, they walk into the office to see Jiraiya sat at the desk with the headdress of the Hokage on his head. He tells them that as Itachi is in the village and they know everything they need to know about the Akatsuki, and they no longer need someone to spy on them, Hiruzen appointed him as he was way past retirement at this point. I mean, Jiraiya was a bit miffed because it was kind of forced on him, but he's probably the best candidate besides Tsunade. But she's busy with hospital. Team 7 explained what happened during the mission, making Jiraiya smile, that not only had they saved Gaara, but also thinned out the ranks of the Akatsuki even more than they already had. Jiraiya tells them how proud he is of them. They have all become very strong and capable shinobi, telling them all to get some rest, as they had most definitely earned it. They all bow to the new Hokage before leaving, and head to Ichiraku Ramen to celebrate. Like I said, it was Naruto's idea, as always. A few days after their mission, Naruto wakes up to someone knocking on his door. As he opens it, he sees Itachi standing there, asking him if he could come in. Still half asleep, Naruto tells Itachi to come in, and he sits at his table with a serious look on his face. Itachi asks Naruto how much he knows about Madara Uchiha, with Naruto admittedly telling him that he doesn't know much, apart from the feud and subsequent massive battles between him and the first Hokage. Itachi nods, but tells Naruto that there's a man in the shadows of the Akatsuki that calls himself Madara. Whether it really is him or not is irrelevant. What matters is that he doesn't stop until he gets what he wants. In fact, this was the man who helped him during the massacre of the Uchiha clan. Naruto, who was making a cup of tea for him and Itachi, froze hearing this, knowing that if this was true, then it's possible they will attack the village just to get to him. Kurama then interjects, speaking through Naruto. He says that Madara was able to control him and use him against the first Hokage, and would like to know how much time they have before they could possibly assault the village. With a sorrowful look on his face, Itachi says that he doesn't know, but considering they have lost 4 members of the Akatsuki so far, it won't be long before they try to destroy their most immediate threat. Naruto, while shaking a little bit, finishes making their tea, and they sit in silence drinking quickly, knowing that they need to make preparations for what's about to come. Naruto heads to the Hokage's mansion, as Itachi goes to collect Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi, going to warn them as well. Naruto walks into Jiraiya's office, telling him that they need to call a meeting of everyone in the village right now. Jiraiya looked well past confused and asked Naruto why, but Naruto simply says that he's going to tell everyone that they need to prepare for an attack. Obviously, this makes Jiraiya a bit nervous, so he does what he's been asked. After about half an hour, everyone in the village was stood in the street, waiting to hear what this was about. Naruto took center stage and shouted out to the village that soon they will be attacked by an organization of strong ninja, and none of them will hesitate to kill an innocent person. They must have a plan for when they will strike. All capable shinobi will have to go to the training grounds to go through the most intense training of their lives, and everyone else gather provisions and those important to you, everything that's important to you, and place them inside of the bunker. Someone in the crowd shouts that they should evacuate the village. How can Naruto guarantee their safety? Some stirrings occur and then some other people agree and join in, almost causing a protest. But Naruto was getting annoyed by more annoyed by the second that they weren't listening to what he's saying. Kurama then activates Tail Beast transformation against Naruto's will and yells to the village that in this village they have the power of the most powerful Tail Beast, the power of the Rinnegan, multiple Sharingan users, and some of the strongest ninjas in the world. If they wish to leave the village, so be it. But those ninja are murderers. They will hunt every single one of you down, and outside the village there will be no one left to protect you. The crowd stopped shouting and started agreeing to what Naruto was saying. I mean, I think I'd agree as well if I'm getting shouted at by a nine-tailed beast. Naruto creates hundreds of shadow clones who jump down to the streets to start helping people gather their things and moving them to the Hidden Leaf bunker, which had been reinforced by Naruto using the Asura path to create metal beams covering the walls and ceilings and create like a massive mechanized door, kind of like a vault door. Some of the other clones head to the training fields to whip the other ninja into shape. After about a week of non-stop training and preparing, the real Naruto, who had been sat on top of the Hokage's mansion, cross-legged, trying to sense what was going on around the village, could feel multiple sources of chakra moving in fast. It seems Itachi was right. Naruto runs around the entire village, telling everyone to get ready. They're coming. The whole village was in uproar and with alarms going off everywhere, with all the civilians running into the bunker and the full military might of the Leaf Village heading to the outskirts of the wall, ready to face the remaining members of this terrorist organisation. Naruto and Sasuke were stood at the gate of the Leaf Village, waiting for the two members with the highest chakra levels, Nagato and the man who calls himself Madara Uchiha. Nagato tells Naruto to come with them. If not, everyone in the village will pay the price. Sasuke immediately activates his EMS, telling Nagato that he needs to leave now, or the one who will pay the so-called price will be him and the rest of his pathetic little group. Obito, who they know as Madara, slowly claps, telling Sasuke that his eyes would be best suited in the hands of him. Naruto's face was full of rage at what he said, and tells Obito that if any of them lay a finger on a single citizen, they will all die. Kurama started flooding chakra into Naruto's Rinnegan, causing 6 Tomei to appear in both of his eyes. Obito notices this and thinks that maybe taking Naruto's eyes would be better than taking Nagato's. After a stare down between the two wielders of the Rinnegan, Nagato launches himself towards Naruto, trying to subdue him as quickly as possible. But when he does, Naruto activates KCM and outspeeds Nagato, punching him in the chest, causing him to spit up quite a bit of blood, feeling the strength behind that one attack. Nagato jumps back and creates a very large missile launcher from his arm, launching it straight towards Naruto, with Naruto countering with his own, causing a huge explosion. Meanwhile, Obito launched towards Sasuke, trying to take his eyes. But as his hand got within 1 meter of Sasuke, his hand gets blocked by a large purple skeletal hand. Manifesting his Susanoo, Sasuke backhands Obito through multiple trees, making Obito a little bit dazed from the force, as you would expect. Sasuke follows the clearing that he just made with Obito's face to see that no one was there. It was like he just disappeared. Sasuke turns around to go help Naruto and sees that Obito was behind Naruto, reaching a hand out ready to pull him into the Kamui dimension. Sasuke shouts out, and in the nick of time, Naruto uses Almighty Push, blasting Obito and Nagato away. Poor Nagato, he was just there. Meanwhile, in the other parts of the village, Itachi and Kakashi were easily fending off the other members of the Akatsuki. I mean, it would be quite easy for them to now, especially with Itachi's Amaterasu, which had only improved due to his EMS, and that he knows the fighting style of every member of the Akatsuki. And Kakashi's new proficiency with Genjutsu and the Sharingan, due to now having Shisui's eye and, well, 2 eyes to be fair. Sasuke makes it back to Naruto, resuming his fight with Obito, finding his Kamui ability to be the most annoying thing in the world, while Naruto continues fighting Nagato, perfectly countering each other, seeing as they were just using Rinnegan abilities. Naruto makes multiple shadow clones, who all create Rasen Shuriken, throwing them at Nagato, some of them flying straight past him, detonating behind him, covering the battlefield with massive explosions, just so that he can cover the Rasen Shuriken that was going straight for his face. Nagato sees this and lifts his hand up, ready to absorb the very large amount of chakra coming towards him. But at the very last second, the Rasen Shuriken turns into a plume of smoke, revealing Naruto, who had a very real Rasengan in his hand, planting it straight into Nagato's stomach, sending him barreling into the wall, creating a huge dent in it. Nagato pulls himself out, but by the time he landed on the floor, an avatar of Kuruma's head was in front of him, a tail beast bomb ready to launch. Naruto gives him one last chance to leave the village and never return. Nagato was about to attack again, but he needs to know why this kid, who had him on the ropes, who could kill him with this one move, completely destroy his entire body, why he's given him a chance to live. But he gets his answer as he looks past everyone in front of him to see a man that was running towards them. It was Jiraiya. Then it clicked in his head. The name Naruto. It was taken from one of Jiraiya's books. This is Jiraiya's godson, so that explains his willingness to forgive. Nagato slowly stands up and tells Naruto his whole worldview of pain, and that someone needs to take it over by force in order to achieve peace, before floating into the air, channeling a huge amount of chakra. Naruto looks up, shaking in fear, knowing what Nagato was about to do. The tail beast bomb wouldn't be enough to stop him. More than likely it would just be blasted away, causing more damage to the village and people that he cares about. With no time to think, Naruto creates as many shadow clones as possible. Like, he can make 1,000 easily, so it's probably a hell of a lot more than that. and each of them jump up surrounding Nagato. As Nagato releases Almighty Push, a chorus of the same jutsu come from all of the Narutos, directed towards Nagato, trying to negate the power of Nagato's jutsu. After a little bit of a struggle, Nagato falls out of the air, bloodied and mangled, as not only was his jutsu negated, some of the Narutos got through, pushing him into the gravitational force from the other clones, essentially crushing him. With Nagato on the floor, dead, the only one left to deal with is the man who called himself Madara. As Naruto Naruto turns round, I'm sorry, I can't read for some reason, he sees Obito disappear from view as Kakashi and Itachi run towards them, witnessing the man vanish. After seeing this, Kakashi starts shaking, seeing that ability, knowing that it's too close to his own jutsu to be a coincidence. It must be Obito. Naruto asks why Kakashi looks like that, but gets cut off as Kakashi starts running yet again, trying to stop Obito from taking Nagato's body to the Kamui dimension. But he was too slow to stop him. With no other reasoning or thought of how to deal with this, Kakashi grabs Naruto, using Kamui on his own hand, sending them both to the same dimension. They arrive just in time as Obito had just plucked the Rinnegan out of Nagato's head, ready to put them in his own face. But, sorry, hold on. But Naruto immediately re-enters KCM and launches towards Obito, who was way too slow and caught off guard to stop Naruto ramming a huge Rasengan into him. More to the point, through him. A gruesome sight took place as Obito's entire body was ripped apart. The only parts left over was an arm, a leg, and his head, which was mostly protected by his now destroyed mask. Naruto bends down, grabbing Nagato's Rinnegan, and also plucking Obito's Sharingan from his now decapitated head, noting that these eyes have caused too much trouble. He was about to crush them all, but Kakashi asked Naruto if he would give him that Sharingan. This version of Obito lost all hope in this world, but I want to honour the old Obito by using his power to protect the world that he wanted. Naruto nods, quite quite happy that Kakashi would feel this way, and hands the other Sharingan to Kakashi before they leave the Kamui dimension the same way they entered. After the dust settles from the battle, and all the damage is restored, Naruto meets up with his friends, and they all notice something on Naruto's forehead that you could see a tiny bit under the headband. When asked about it, Naruto removes his headband and explains that after the battle, he went to the head of the Hyuga clan and asked him to put a curse mark onto him. When asked why, Naruto explained that once he passes away, these eyes could be used to do great harm, just like Nagato's was, and Obito's. They could do great harm against those who it was meant to protect. This curse mark will make sure that the eyes are destroyed when I finally die. Kakashi smiles under his mask telling Naruto that was a very mature and wise decision. The man who understands the burden of strength is the only man who is worthy of wielding it. Naruto smiles back, telling his sensei, "Don't worry. I'm going to create a world that will be at peace and safe long after I'm gone." Well, seeing as there isn't any more threats really until Boruto, which I'm not covering because I don't want to watch Boruto. I mean, there's Toneri, but I mean, come on. Sasuke and Naruto are both in the village, and Itachi for that matter. And Kakashi now has Obito's other Sharingan, so he could have a Susanoo. There's not really any challenge with Toneri. Not with this version of events, anyway. So, I'm going to end the series here. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if there's anything you would have liked to happen differently, please let me know. I might do a redo eventually of my older what ifs because I've realised my voice is really annoying. But it was even more annoying back then. It sounded like on the Broly what if, it sounded like I was depressed. But as I always ask you, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all later, I guess. Bye.